Hello, hello. I'll give everyone a moment to connect to sound here. Hello, and welcome to the Brooklyn Rail's 1332nd New Social Environment. I'm Joshua, a programs associate here at the Rail, and I have the pleasure and privilege of being your MC today for a conversation featuring Akshay Kumar Rautaray, Satabdi Mishra, Biswamit Dwibedy, and Cole Swensen. And now I'll introduce today's guests and host. Biswamit Dwibedy was born in Odisha, India, and now lives in Paris, France. He's the author of Erode, Ancient Guest, 100 Greatest Love Songs, Hubble Gardener, and the chapbooks Erik's Ocean, MC3, Ozalid, and Film of Dust. Satabdi Mishra is an independent bookseller, publisher, book curator, book mobile pilot, and co-founder of Walking Book Fairs. She's the co-creator of the Walking Book Fairs Travel Writing Festival, a first of its kind traveling literature festival in India. She also leads the Walking Book Fairs book club, centering women and diverse voices in art and literature. Akshay Kumar Rautaray is the author of Bang Journeys, a genre-bending nonfiction book on marijuana, blending memoir, travel, and reportage that has been translated into Hindi, Marathi, and Oriya. He has authored 5 books of poetry in Oriya. His poems and short stories have been translated into the English language and have also been published in various anthologies. He is an independent bookseller and co-founder of the iconic independent bookstore in India, Walking Book Fairs. Our host today, Cole Swensen, is the author of 20 volumes of poetry, most recently And, which was longlisted for the Griffin Poetry Prize, and a collection of critical essays, Noise That Stays Noise. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Cole.
Thank you very much, Joshua. And thank you all for being here. And it's 10:30, I think, at night in India at the moment. So thank you very much for staying up and being willing to talk with us. We're really looking forward to this. This Publishing in Transit is a program that just focuses on and honors people who give up their own writing time to present the works of others, to keep poetry going. So thank you very much for all the work that you do on that. And we'll start, as we always do, with poetry. So we'll start with Akshaya, and he will read in the original, and then Biswamit has done some translations, and so we'll switch over, and Biswamit will read translations of Akshaya's work in English, so that you can get the sound of the original, the sound of that, and then you get sound and content with the translations. So I'm going to turn it over, and thank you, Akshaya.
Thank you so much, Cole. Good evening, all. Good afternoon, all, because we're in different time zones. And I primarily write in Oriya. All my poetry is in Oriya, and do a little bit of non-fiction in English. But I'm going to read a few poems, and they're all from my little book called Lokatantra Raja Neta Babu Babani O Besya. But this is all in Oriya. So after me, Biswamit is going to translate and read. I'm going to read the dedication of the book, which I love. It's called ପଶୁମାନଙ୍କୁ ମୋର ସ୍ନେହ ଶ୍ରଦ୍ଧା ଓ ସମ୍ମାନ ଏ ପରିବେଶକୁ ଏ ପୃଥିବୀକୁ ମଣିଷ ପରି ନଷ୍ଟ ନ କରିଥିବାରୁ. I think Biswamit can now read the translation.
Yes, thank you. The dedication goes to the animals, my affection, devotion, and respect for not destroying the environment, the earth, like humans do.
Thank you so much, Biswamit. And there's a small poem that I'm going to read now. It's called ସାଙ୍ଗ ମୋର ସରକାରୀ ବଡ଼ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କରେ ଚାକିରି କଲେ, ଭଲ ଦରମା ପାଇଲେ। ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଗରିବ ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ କିଛି ଋଣ, ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ଋଣ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ ସହଜରେ ମିଳିଲେ କେତେ ବଢ଼ିଆ ହୁଅନ୍ତା। ତୁ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ କରୁନୁ। ସାଙ୍ଗ କହିଲା ଏ ସରକାରୀ ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା ବଦଳେଇବନି ମୋ ଭଳିଆ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ମ୍ୟାନେଜର ଦ୍ୱାରା। ହେଲେ ମୁଁ କବିତା ଲେଖିଛି, ଦେଖିବ ସବୁ ଲୋକେ ପଢ଼ି ବଦଳିଯିବେ ଆଉ ଆମ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟ ବଦଳିଯିବ।
And this is from page 21 of the book.
Yes.
A friend of mine worked in a big government bank and made good money. I said, if the poor could get a bank loan with ease, it would be great. Why don't you do something? Friend said, this government arrangement won't change with a bank manager like me, but I write poems. You'll see, everyone will read them and change, and so will our bank.
Thank you, Biswamit. I think there are a few more which Biswamit will read in English, right?
Okay. Are you sure you don't want to read a few more in Oriya, or should I just jump into the English?
I think you should read, because most of the people who are here, they won't understand Oriya. I think you read the English one, the translation. If anybody wants to listen to the Oriya ones, I'll do that.
We can do that. Great. So I'll just read a few. I'll say the page number from the book. And the title of the book translates something like Democracy, King, Politician, Master and Mistress, and a Prostitute, something like that. So I'll read a few short poems. Number 24. The day the slum dweller donates his stale, watered-down rice, bokhara, to the big boss, I'll see how many of my great friends and bosses will eat that stale rice and show the pictures to the world on their Insta, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp stories. 27. One, two, a few writers, philosophers, scientists, social servants the earth can carry the weight of. But if the entire society transforms into writers, philosophers, scientists, social servants, then we must dig up the moon and the planets to give a medal each to these very good and respectable men. 55. Everyone in this city wears a mask of many colorful clothes, and each evening everyone gets naked as if no one can see each other. 64. Once the naked man clothes himself, then to be naked again, he is embarrassed, for he is a good man, and these are a good man's clothes. 65. Donating might rid of all the troubles, thinks some human, and accumulates more and more wealth to donate. 69. I'm broken, but for you, I have become a beautiful thing to decorate. 70. Each government that rules sucks the life out of society and says the arrangements of this government are, in the world, the best and most beautiful. 82. Had there not been language, no words to say, no alphabets to write with, no paper nor pen, no postal service, no letters, no emails, nor mobile phones, to say I love wouldn't have been so cheap or so easy. 80. I didn't want to break anything. I only wanted to touch you. What did I know that this life was a house of cards? 88. My body isn't some mothers, fathers, lovers, castes, religions, countries. It is a naked body of water, soil, wind. 91. If the human didn't love the body, then would it have worshipped an idol? Gold, silver, diamond, ruby, and other such stones, could they have been so precious? 124. Quietly, I will stay and say nothing, will burn, and my burning will make no noise. 125. I never found them because I was looking for myself. Number 127. I will keep running, but the road won't end. I will end, and such is life. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Biswamit.
Thank you.
I wish
Wonderful.
I could actually read all of them in Odia and all of you would understand Odia. I love Biswamit's translation because this is something that I've been trying to do for a long time with my previous books also. But I never liked the translations. I don't know why. A couple of them are already published, but these are some of the translation that are very close to me. I think they're exactly what I was trying to say in my own language in Odia. So maybe Biswamit is going to translate all of them on then we publish a book in English so that you all can read it. Thank
Well,
you again.
thank you very
Biswamit.
much. That was a great start. And now, Satabdi, you're going to read us something as well.
Yes, I am. So I have Akshaya's book, Bhang Journeys, here with me, and I'm going to read from this very interesting chapter where Akshay's gone into the ganja fields with the government officials who are going to destroy the marijuana crop. And he has and he wants to document what's happening for the book, and he meets the farmers who are actually tribal people from Koraput and from Malkangiri. These are very interior rural districts in Odisha in India. So I'm just going to read a little bit from this.
Right.
So the chapter is Into the Ganja Fields, Travel to Kandhamal. On another patch of land, there was potato, onion, and radish. Next to it, in a hut under the shadow of a date palm, sat an old woman. A younger woman was cooking freshly cut radish with onion on firewood. I tried to strike up a conversation with her and offered her 10 rupees for a radish, which she took with much hesitation. I thought about asking her whether she had heard of the government scheme of giving women gas cylinders, but I dropped the idea. She wasn't very communicative. We were intruders after all. When we got back to work, another old woman also begged us to leave her a few ganja plants. Ganja is marijuana plants. She told me they were Kons. Kons is a tribal community. And these hills had been their home for thousands of years. But we don't have any papers to prove it. She said, the government wants papers. What papers does the land give? They drive us out of our land because they say we have no papers. Then we have to come to the forest. I asked for her name. Why should I tell you my name? Why should I trust you? You drive us into the forest, and then when we try to make a living, you come with your machines to destroy my farm. What has the government given us? Go on then, cut it all, destroy everything, then leave us alone and go away.
Thank you so much. That was great to get a taste of the nonfiction as well. So the poetry and the nonfiction seem to work really well together. And now let's segue into this great series of slides that will help us understand this amazing project. Okay. And either of you feel free to leap in with any kind of framing or commentary that might seem appropriate.
So this is Akshay and me with our book truck when we were traveling throughout India. So this is a customized book truck that we had, and we had books on both sides. So we would travel, we would drive from place to place. We would stop at maybe like a community or a college or just on the road, and we would park the truck and open it out for people to come and have a look at the books. So it worked as a traveling free library and also as a bookstore. People could come and read for free without paying anything. And people who wanted to buy books could also buy books. So this is what we were doing. This is from 2014, 2015. We traveled for 3 months and we were on the highways of India.
And I don't know how to drive. So the book truck that you see was driven by Satabdi. And this is 2015 December when we started it. And we went around India for 3 months non-stop. So we didn't stop. We started from Odisha and we went around the 10,000 kilometers around the country, covering almost 21 states before coming back to Odisha during the summer.
Amazing. It's
You can
really.
go to the next slide, I think.
Can I ask
That's
one? Can I ask one
yes, please.
question about that previous slide? If we could just nip back quickly. So when at the end of the 3 months, how many of those books were still with you? Were the shelves getting pretty empty at that point?
I think we did pretty well. We were not thinking that we would be able to sell books, but somehow it was a very nice experience because there were places in small towns where we actually sold more copies. Schools did buy books. Many people actually bought books uh, because there are no physical bookshops in many towns in India.
Okay.
So we had about 4,000 books that we were carrying on this book truck. And we also added more books in the bigger cities where we had access to distributors. So we would replenish the shelves as and when we could. But the whole idea, like I also just mentioned, that it was also a free library. So the idea was to give people a chance to just come and look at a book and just hold a book or browse and not feel pressured to buy immediately, because for a lot of people that we were visiting, it was their first time looking at books which are not textbooks, books are which are for children's books, or something which is a story book or a poetry book. So
And also the idea of promoting books as much as possible, just like any other product. For instance, you do toothpaste advertisements, you do all sort of other product advertisements, but you actually don't do anything for books. You spend millions and millions and billions of rupees or dollars to promote, do advertisements for other products, but not for books. So we thought we should actually like do something and take books around and let's see what happens. That's all.
What a great idea. And as you say, most of the places that you were stopping would not be within easy reach of a bookstore.
Except the bigger cities and tier one cities, two cities, most of the towns in India do not have a bookstore selling story books. We have bookstores and stationery shops where we sell curriculum books and stationeries, but not story books. In fact, there are a few only bigger cities. For instance, Bombay or Delhi, we still do not have hundreds of bookstores, maybe 20, 30 of them. But we are far behind when it comes to smaller towns. In smaller towns, you have one or sometimes not even one. And the ones that are there, they don't sell storybooks. They mostly sell curriculum books.
Okay,
And they're
interesting.
all for the schools and colleges.
Great. Thank you. And so, okay, let's go on to that next one.
Thanks.
So this is a picture from our bookstore in Bhubaneswar, and this is our logo. So we have a lot of plants inside our bookstore, and which we love, and people who visit us also love. So yeah, this is our bookstore, and the slide on the left, the picture on the left, this is our Bhubaneswar bookstore, and the one on the right is our Cuttack bookstore. So we have a curated selection of fiction, non-fiction, and we have children's books and some poetry books. And we don't sell any textbooks, so we don't have any textbooks. We don't want textbooks in our store. So this is also our bookstore in which we are right now.
Okay. And I noticed, I couldn't help but notice down here on the shelf, it says Murder in a Bookshop is one of the titles. The one right above the globe for
Yes,
people who
it's
are
right
looking.
there. Yes.
So
And,
I thought that.
Great
Yeah.
observation skills.
and I just spotted the Jory Graham book that I've been reading in Bangalore.
Oh, wow.
The New World. It's right on the bottom shelf.
Yes.
Ah, right. Yep, I see it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they all new books or are there some used as well?
So we don't deal with used books. I mean, nothing against used books, but yeah, we
Yeah.
are a new bookstore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Did we go to the
Maybe
next
that,
one?
yeah.
This is an event. We have a lot of events happening at both our bookstores. We have authors coming in. We had Biswamit visiting us on his last trip to Odisha. And so this is a book
So this is
discussion
in
with
Bhubaneswar,
Akshay.
and all our events, they are generally free, so there is no cover charge. We don't ask people to actually pay for events, except the one travel writing festival we do, where we ask friends to contribute. Rest of the events, which are like on almost every month, we have like couple of them. They're all free. I mean, it all the events are supported through our sales. Whatever money we make through book sales, that goes into doing events, uh, supporting small expenses of the bookstore. Sometimes we try to pitch in a bit of money for the stay of the writer. Sometimes we even make sure that we take care of their travel for the events that we do. But every event that we do in the bookstore, they are free for the readers. So they all need to just come and have a nice time. And if at all they want to buy a book, they buy a book. We have never pressurized people to actually buy a book and then become part of the event, which many do these days. And I feel it's very essential for bookstores to actually make sales to survive. But I personally believe the readers should understand it, and they should actually put in a bit of money into their community bookstores, where the community bookstore uses that money again for the community, and that's what we're trying to do.
Great. Wonderful.
That's
This is Deepa Bhashti, who's the translator of the International Booker Prize winning book by Banu Mushtaq, Heart Lamp. So she visited us, and it was really nice of her to come and support a small independent bookstore like ours.
So I also want to thank all the writers, translators, publishers. Since last 13 years, we have had like hundreds of them visiting the bookstore. Uh, and many just came on their own. I mean, we didn't even know them. They landed up in the bookstore. They said hello. They got sweets for us, they got gifts for us, they spent time, and they tried to promote the bookstore. And that's how we, I think, have become a little more accessible to people, because they have spread a word about the bookstore. So most of the time we actually didn't do much, except waiting here for the people to come. And writers, translators, readers, they all started coming and supporting the space.
Great.
Okay, so this is very interesting. Before that bigger book truck, in 2014 when we started, we didn't have enough money. I had just quit working in a bookstore, and I used to get a very small salary. And Shatabdi and I, we decided to do our own bookstore, but we didn't have the money. So we actually asked friends uh, to support us, and we could manage a very little money, less than maybe $1,000, uh, and bought this second-hand ambulance. This was an ambulance, and we converted that second-hand ambulance into a little book mobile, and we had books at the back and a little space for our own stuff. And we took this around Odisha in the summer of 2014. And before that, we also took it to a few places in Koraput, one of the tribal districts. And it was amazing because for the first time we could actually go around Odisha and see all the districts. So this little van traveled around 30 districts of Odisha twice in 2014-15. Yes, twice.
I love the sort of moving metaphor of urgency. These books are racing to you. What gave you the idea? Where did it come from? The idea of a moving bookstore is so unusual.
I mean, like we both said, we wanted to promote books. We didn't have a lot of money, and it was easy to actually buy a second-hand or some used vehicle and take books around instead of looking for a space which was very expensive. Uh, it was easier to like take a van and take books around. That's why, I mean, we didn't have any other option also.
It's just such an
Also,
innovative solution to the space problem.
it is. But also, when we started out, we did not have this van. We were carrying books in a backpack
Backpack.
and we were walking from village to village displaying them because we were in rural Odisha and there were villages around and we were displaying these books under the trees and in local markets where the common people were out and about and they would also come and take a look at the books. They could read and they could buy. But that is why we are called walking book fairs, because we were actually walking with these books, setting up these little fairs in villages and small towns and walking around. So it was really difficult for us to carry books because books are really heavy. And carrying them in a backpack or a suitcase was just not working out. So we thought it would be easier if we had some sort of like a small van or something to help move quickly. So this is how the van came into the picture, and it was a rickety old thing, and it was like 25 years old already when we got it, but that was what we could afford at that time. So that's the story of this van and why we are called walking book fairs.
Right. That's really an amazing story.
So yeah, then we got this book truck, when we had a bit of money later. I think this was in
2015, and this Read More India campaign was also supported by a few publishers. So we had Pan Macmillan, HarperCollins, and Paragon as our partners, and we actually were able to put together a bit of money and a bank loan to buy that book truck. So it was completely like a bank loan which supported the book truck and a small contribution by the publishers to support the cost of travel. But even after that, it was very very expensive uh, because the bigger book truck started drinking a lot of fuel, and also a bigger book truck means you need bigger space to display. That was also because was a challenge because we actually looked for a very open space all the time. Like in Chennai, we took the book truck to the beach front because there was no other space where we could open it up. So we had to actually take it to the beach front. So
Wow.
I think somewhere on the south coast, that's where we took that picture.
I love the idea of the beach becoming a bookshop. Where would you stay? Were you camping or and how would you do your meals and
No. We didn't camp because I don't know it's at all safe to do camping in India.
probably not. But
Only
yeah, we had to
that's
find a hotel or a guest house or a friend's place
a
to
lot of
stay.
people actually supported. We stayed with friends. We stayed with guest houses of universities, in hotels. a lot of places.
And we would have to, eat wherever we could find food on the way when we were traveling. But it was really difficult because for miles you wouldn't find water or food or even a toilet. There are no toilets anywhere. So it was exhausting. It was back-breaking work, and it was really, really difficult. And the highways are just crazy. I mean, you have all kinds of people on the highways, and it's not safe at all. And especially as a woman, when you're driving on the highways of India, people just go crazy. They're staring at you. They're trying to do things, act smart on the road, and it's just not such a great idea. Yeah.
The logistics sound really trying.
So this is how we displayed it inside the campuses of universities also, wherever we could access. And many places we're not allowed to get inside the university campuses because you actually have to go through a lot of paperwork, or you have to have someone inside the campus whom you know to actually get a permission to display books inside university campuses. I don't know how it works in the West, but in India it is a lot of paperwork that you need to do to get inside any campus to do
So
a
this
display.
is in Bengal. This is the Vishwabharati University campus, which is one of the oldest and most famous universities, which was set up by Rabindranath Tagore. And we had a lot of curious readers coming wherever we set up. I mean, even in the villages, even in the remotest parts of India, we were surprised to find so many people who would come to look at books because like I said, a lot of people were looking at books for the first time. And also for a lot of people in India, books meant textbooks probably. And they were really curious to see so many different kinds of books. And adults would come and they would look at picture books for children, and they were really happy, and there was joy all around when people were engaging with books, which was really great for us.
Sounds wonderful. Absolutely.
So this is again school children with the book truck, and so we would try and include schools or universities or colleges where students could come and have a look at books. I mean, we would not be able to sell books here because a lot of them would not be able to afford buying books, but we had a lot of reading sessions for students where they could come and pick books from the book truck and just read whatever they liked. So we did this throughout India.
And again, back in Odisha, in our own state also, we took the book truck around the state once. The bigger book truck as well.
So these are all tribal girl students in Raigada. That's again a tribal district in Odisha. And so they all come from remote parts of the district, and they study in this one residential school, which we visited, and they're all reading here.
So when did you open the first bookshop? Was it?
So we started walking book fairs in 2014 in Koraput, when we were carrying books in the backpack and displaying them on the streets and under the trees and on the footpath. Then we got the van. We moved around Odisha. Then we got this one, the bigger truck. Then we moved around India. And when we came back...
By the same time, I think in early 2015, we had a book shack.
Then we didn't have this one. We had a different smaller one.
This started in 2016, the one that we are sitting in.
Okay.
This started in 2016, around the end of 2016. So until 2016, we didn't have a proper bookshop. We had a small book shack then a little hut kind of place. And this started in 2016. Then, part of it actually, this is the second part that we started in end of 17, 18, beginning of 18. But the other side, we have another small space which we started initially. And the Kathak one started in 2023.
Okay.
It's not very old. In between, we actually did a little.
We had another
space.
store in Bangalore, which
Bangalore.
is now closed down. That happened during the pandemic, and so we had to change locations, and then there were issues with the space and rent and everything.
And
So
strangely, to survive, we have always. It's like, you take a loan, do a book truck, then you actually get rid of it, sell it, so that you survive another couple of years. So we don't have the book truck right now. When we came back in 2016, 15, 16 from the India tour, we again did a small Odisha tour and kept the book truck for another few years, and then sold it off to pay back the loan. And also, in between, we did a small partnership with Penguin, promoting their brand on the book truck. So it was called Penguin on Wheels for a year. So we also somehow managed to get a bit of funding through promoting other brands, but not anyone who is not into publishing. We always tried our best to keep our promotions limited to books, readers, writers, publishing, but nothing
we
beyond
don't want
that.
corporations funding anything about
Right.
book fairs.
And then after this book truck, we actually maybe it's in the next slide.
Yeah, we'll see
We should go
pictures
to the
soon.
next one. Okay. In between, we do these creative events and initiatives. This is the first kind of a library, which is called first flying library. We started with in collaboration with a small airline called India One. They're a regional airline in our state, Odisha, with three small aircrafts, and they fly to around 6 different destinations. And these are small Cessna aircrafts with 9 passengers and 2 pilots. And each seat has a book at the back. So the passenger can actually look at the book, read, and keep it back. They don't have to pay anything.
So this is a free library inside the aircraft, and whoever is traveling through these aircrafts gets to read these books. So this is one
That's the tail of the
passenger
aircraft.
who's left a testimonial sort of a thing.
Great.
So this
I
is-
love this, the idea of a book club that
This
is
is a very interesting book club that we did, which was the whole idea was to subvert the whole this festival that we have in Odisha in India. We have a lot of festivals. So this one celebrates womanhood, and it's called Raja. So women are, supposed to dress up and have fun. So recently, like how it has happened with Women's Day, everybody wants to, sort of have these sales for women to go to the spa or, get their hair done or get their nails done, sort of a thing. So we wanted women to read on this festival. So we thought of this women only book club on board this aircraft, where the pilots were also women, the readers were women, and we were reading books by women. So that's what we were doing.
amazing.
It was great fun.
Should go to the next slide. So that's the map.
That's an actual map
That is amazing.
and the route that we traveled on.
The book truck that we took around India. So they've actually named and marked all the places.
And I see that you've got all the dates listed, and it looks like you're spending 2 to 3 days at each place.
Yes. Yes.
So it takes, so we travel roughly around 300 to 400 kilometers when we are driving from one place to another. That's how we charted the whole tour. So this is 10,000 kilometers around India. So we start from Odisha, somewhere here, and then we go down south, and then we go up again, and then we come back. So it's like this whole tour across. And so we had dates in mind, and we knew how far one place was from the other. And so that is how we would plan the whole thing. But then sometimes, that didn't work out, or it would take a little longer than we had planned. So that was what we did. And this was before Google Maps.
Yes.
Wow.
So it was,
I mean, it was already there, but we didn't have like a
no
device to
GPS,
nothing.
no
Yeah,
maps. It was all
Interesting.
about,
What year was this?
This is
this is 2015
Okay.
to 16.
Yeah. What an amazing trip. And I imagine the geography that you're covering is just constantly changing. So
It
were
is.
you visiting parts of India that you hadn't visited before?
Yes.
many states for the first time.
Great.
And the roads were completely unknown. We had never traveled on them before. And so it was all about discovering our great country and meeting people, and books were connecting us all. So it was quite fabulous.
Great. And it was functioning as the free library and bookstore the whole time. People
Yes.
could,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
such a generous idea. Yeah, really amazing.
Okay, this is
This is
from
the
a
Travel Writing
travel writing
Festival.
festival.
In 2024, the second edition, which was in Puri in India. And this is a session that we were having on the beach.
And
So
people are
there's
writing as
sunset.
well as reading? And do you give prompts to help
No,
people get
we
into
have
the
to go
writing?
back, go back to the last slide. So this session, I mean, we didn't have a stage. We used the backdrop of the ocean as our backdrop, and the writers are sitting on the beach. They're discussing books and literature, and the participants participants are sitting facing the sea. Okay, so this is like a session happening on the beach. So we didn't book a city hall or a
Right.
auditorium. We used nature. I mean, it was just the beach that we used as a little stage.
So
And are
this
the
is,
people sitting in the blue chairs writing their own work?
no, I think they're just listening to the speakers. So there's a panel discussion happening on travel, literature, and food. So these are the
Okay.
participants. They're probably, maybe somebody's taking down some notes or something. So we
Wonderful.
traveled from our bookstore in Bhubaneswar to Puri, which is about 60 kilometers from here, on a train for this year's edition. So this is the poster for the same festival. So we had sessions on the train, and then again when we reached, we had sessions at different locations in Puri.
So
So
this is from inside the train. So few sessions happened inside the coach. So the entire coach was booked, and we used the middle of the coach as the stage for the speakers, and passengers were all the participants. So we had more than 73 people, uh, including the writers. We did around 3 sessions and a lunch on the train, and we traveled from Bhubaneswar to Puri.
What fun. I imagine people really respond with enthusiasm and engagement. It just is not only an unusual idea, but you're actually literally moving.
Yes, and also this was probably the first time that anything like this happened. And later on, in last 1.5 years, I'm seeing a lot of other people are doing it. which is interesting. I saw people doing reading inside trains now. They're doing sessions inside train, and so it makes both us very happy to see that whatever we do, people are actually trying to replicate it, which is sometime is a good thing, and
Absolutely.
maybe it will encourage others to promote books in different ways.
Really wonderful.
Oh, great.
So yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the display that we did when we started out, when we were traveling with books, carrying books in backpacks and suitcases and boxes, and we would just display them under a tree because we had shade. And then, local people from wherever we were would come and they would have a look. So here we have a woman, and here we have, like young boys and working people, and sometimes farmers and people from really diverse backgrounds coming in to look at books. So this was also a space where different people who would not probably come into one physical space together for anything would come, and they would be together under that same space, and they would look at books. So this was
So you're actually creating a different kind of community space than any other that exists in that area or any.
There are so many things that can be done with books. We just wanted to try new things and encourage others to do things. I mean, not just a traditional way of promoting books in one library or in one bookshop.
also we were just making the most of whatever we had, because we really did not have the resources to rent a space or
Even-
build a shop or anything. So we just had books with us, which we were carrying on our person. I mean, we were really walking with books. And since there was, and nobody was charging us to display books under this tree, we just thought we should set books here. And gradually people came every day, and they would wait for us to come. So this was our regular spot for about 2 months, 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so students would come, and they really looked forward to reading, and some of them would buy as well. And it was really heartening to see so many young women from these rural towns come in and pick up a book and read. So that was really the inspiration.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Should we go to the next one? Yeah.
Great.
So this was the beginning. You can see boxes. Those were the boxes that we used to pack the books, and use local transport to go from one place to another, and do our displays. And this is how it, just like a local market, wherever there are people selling vegetables or other stuff, you just go and sit next to them and open your book boxes, and sell books. Most of the times a few would buy, but many would just come to have a look at it.
Yeah. And you don't know what they're going to do with that glimpse. They may go on to buy a book somewhere else because they've gotten this idea that, oh, this is a commodity, an engagement that I didn't realize was so available. That's, yeah, really wonderful.
Oh, this is from Kerala.
So this is again from the Read More India tour that we were doing, the Pan India tour. And here we have reached Kerala in the previous slide. And this is in Andhra Pradesh. So we were visiting a school, and young students came in and they were looking at books, and some of them were reading.
But this is actually, sorry, we have to go back. This was actually in 2018 that we did this Poems on the Road, because we also did this tour around India promoting poetry. In between we bought this small van, and we only had poetry books, which we took around India, traveling again 10,000 kilometers only for poetry. And that entire small van, we only had poetry books,
Yeah, it was
nothing else.
called Poems on the
Poems on the
Road.
Road. Yeah, that's from Poems on the Road.
So we had poetry books, and so it was a library of poetry books, and we also held open mic sessions wherever we stopped. So we invited the public to come in and participate, to read and to sing and whatever they wanted to do. So that was quite interesting. We had a lot of very interesting participants throughout India. You know, we had people of all kind come in and join us. So the whole idea was to have books in a public space and to have these poetry readings in a public space, which was free for everybody and everybody could come and participate.
Great. If I recall, there's a really great shot of the poetry van looking down on the roof, which says poetry.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the roof. Should go to the next. Yeah.
So this is again traveling inside Odisha. These are also tribal school children in one of the residential schools in Mayurbhanj district in Odisha. So
this is 2015, I think, early 2015.
So you can see the enthusiasm, and they're really excited to look at books. And these are all story books, and they're in Oriya. When we travel inside Odisha, we try to carry Oriya books for children.
That smile on that one young woman's face is just gorgeous. Really amazing.
So this is from last year's Travel Writing Festival, where we have some books here on display, some travel books, and we have a panel discussion happening. And so we have from left to right, we have author and translator Jerry Pinto, independent publisher Ravi Singh, filmmaker and publisher Sanjay Kak, and journalist Sampath Patnaik. So it was a really great session where we were talking about publishing in fractured times. And we had the participants sitting in the front. They're not in the frame right now.
To go to the next one. Yeah,
this is another bookstore event where we have author Upamanyu Chatterjee in the bookstore signing books and meeting readers.
Yeah,
this is the one.
What a great idea. And how did you get that written on the roof and on the sides? I mean, that must be a project too, just to decorate the vans.
It is. Yeah, and to get the dimensions right. I mean, we printed it and got it fabricated on the van, but yeah, so
I think it took us the entire night to put them together and put them on the van, around the van. I think we could only end it late night before we started, the night before we started our tour. And
so we had some great participation in this particular spot. This is in Andhra Pradesh. This is a small town called Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh. And we had some spontaneous singing, and somebody was carrying some musical instrument, and we had some vegetable vendors right here, and we were all sitting there. People came and joined us, and it was just great.
So you can actually see coconuts.
Yeah, and people were walking and they stopped and they were listening to it.
No, it's again the sense of spontaneous community in standing communities, but bringing them together in a way that maybe would not have happened had you not been there as the catalyst.
Yep.
So this is a book of poetry that we published.
So we don't do a lot of publishing, but in between we try to change or create something new. For instance, when we did 100 Poems Are Not Enough, the idea was to put 100 people's poetry together and bring out a collection with also contribution from each one, financial contribution and also poetry, so that it's not difficult to produce a book. and sell it at bookstores. We always been trying, whenever we publish, to sell books at bookstores. We don't focus selling books online. We have never. In fact, there's another book that we have published where we clearly said at the back that, not to be sold on Amazon. I think it's room number 312. It's a collection of short stories. Probably that's the only book that India has ever produced which says clearly at the back, not to be sold on Amazon. And I mean, it's. I'm not saying that you should not sell things online, but the problem is giving all the wealth and access and every sort of power to one company is very, very problematic. I think
Absolutely.
if you're a small bookseller and you want to sell a couple of copies online, that's fine. But if you, as a bookseller, again want to be a corporation and sell books around the world, uh, that also I oppose, because I personally think I should not be doing that, trying to become another entity just like Amazon. So we've
Right.
tried our best not to do that, and that's another reason that we actually don't expand. A lot of people ask us why don't you have more bookshops? It's fine. There are so many other people that can actually turn to bookshops. Uh, it should be limited, and you should have that sort of mentality.
Yes. And
That's yes, please.
bring people together physically so that they're
Yes,
there in presence and able to exchange in real time. It's, yeah, so important.
Absolutely. So this is one such event where we had a lot of people come in for
I think that's the
poetry.
launch of
That's the launch of
100
the book
points.
that we published, 100 Poems Are Not Enough. And it features 79 poets from India and also from other countries around the world.
Initially, we published it independently. Then, after a couple of years, I think Pan Macmillan said they want to collaborate, and now the book is a collaboration between Pan Mac and us. So it's a co-publishing
Nice.
of Walking Book Fairs and Pan Macmillan, and it's still in print after so many years. That's
Great.
good.
But you took the risk that showed them this was a good idea so that they would
Yeah,
leap ahead.
after this, strangely, after 100 points, lot of compilations like this
Anthologies.
anthologies came out. I think
Okay.
people saw the opportunity, and they said,
Also, we were asking for contributions on social media back then when Facebook was really active. So we let people know that we were looking for poetry contributors for this anthology, and there was a lot of enthusiasm among people. So that's how we got all these different, diverse people from all over the world together for this book.
Great. Yay.
So also want to point out that bookstores are inclusive spaces and they are for everybody. So we have all kinds of readers. We have mostly women come in, and women of all ages, and which is great. And so this is from the Katak bookstore, reader browsing. These are some events that we have regularly at the Katak
we've
bookstore.
also recently started screening films in our Katak bookstore. Though we always wanted to do it from the beginning, but we never had the resources. But last year we could manage to actually have a projector in Katak, and the bookstore has a film club now. Every month we screen a film now.
And these are free for all and open for all. So there's no charge.
Amazing. And again, what a great way to bring people together and have people meeting each other that may pass on the street every day and never know each other, and now they do.
So you go to the next one.
So this is from the very first the travel writing festival that we had, and this is a session that we had in the bookstore. So we had a couple of lovely people from Spain and
Italy.
France and Italy join us, and they were discussing their experiences as world travelers, and we had some curious guests join us.
So they all came into the bookstore as readers, and then we thought, why not also make them part of the festival and let them talk about their travel experiences. So bookstores
Great.
can be also a great place to have communities mingle with each other.
I love the idea too, if you walk into a bookstore and by the time you're leaving, you're a part of it. It's really, really lovely.
So these are some shots from the bookstore, some readers with our tote bags, and some books that we are highlighting for Read More Women March.
Great.
This is from a book club discussion where we were reading Arundhati Roy's memoir, Mother Mary Comes to Me. And so we have regular book club meets at both our bookstores where we invite people to come and join us, and we have different themes each month, and we focus on women, and we focus on Dalit literature and queer literature, and we want people to go beyond their comfort zone and read diverse books by various people from India and from other countries.
Great.
These are some so these are some readers who are also great artists, and they just felt inspired to make these lovely artworks, so thought we'll share them as well.
They are really evocative of the whole project. Really great. Good. And I think that's the last slide, right? Great. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I feel like we've just traveled all around and between the plane, the train, the truck, and the walking. It's just any way you can get things to move. Really, really great. Biswamit, do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience there and how you met the bookstore and
Oh, yeah, well, I'm happy to, and I think I was introduced to the bookstore about 2 years ago through Instagram, and it was so surprising to find a bookstore just the way it looked on Instagram. I couldn't imagine that that was happening in my hometown, which is Cuttack. I go to Bhubaneswar, and Cuttack and Bhubaneswar are about like what 22 kilometers away from each other. So I would expect something like that to happen in Bhubaneswar, but not Cuttack, because was brought up earlier, it's like mostly textbooks. There were some chains when around like 2008, 2010, there were some chains like Oxford Bookstore and Crosswords in Cuttack, but they had gone under because clearly there was not a market for it. But then I found out about walking book fairs, and I go there with my niece, and they have John Ashbery and Jory Graham, and these books I was really, really surprised to find there. I think I got like a collected with Wallace Stevens there the first trip, and I was very happy. And then I followed them on Instagram and eventually did a reading earlier this year for the book that just came out in Penguin. But yeah, it was just such a surprise, and I'm still finding out stuff that they have done that I wasn't aware of. And I think it'll be a shame if we couldn't talk about the book garden, because I know Cole would probably like to hear a little bit about the book garden that was being mentioned earlier.
So I actually worked with a dear friend who was a collector, like a government officer in a district called Sundargarh. And in 2019-20, I actually created a book garden for him in a district called Sundargarh for the public to come and read books. But before that, when we were on the footpath with a little book shack in Bhubaneswar, we initially started this idea thinking, why not have books in small little boxes around the garden with trees and plants where people can, come sit down and read. And the same idea I expanded and did a huge book garden for the district of Sundargarh for the district administration, and where we did weekly readings. Every Sunday, the district administration would actually read books with the citizens, and they do storytelling, painting, all sort of cultural activity in and around books. And I don't know why, but it was not continued after I left. And I still believe this is something that we should have in every town. Wherever we have gardens, we should have small reading sessions. And and I think some of the other people actually replicated it later on after 2019 in Bhubaneswar and few other places. I'm happy and I'm glad that the few more were thinking about these things, and maybe when time comes, we'll have we'll have to do a bigger one, and I'll be very happy to do it again. But right now, I don't have a book garden.
But it's also an interesting illustration of how much individual insistence on a project and the having the dream and then being determined to carry it out is really necessary. You can't, things, ideas do not carry on their own. It
No.
requires the person. So, hooray. I'm also just looking at the time. We should probably segue it over to Joshua to run the Q&A, but thank you so much, all three of you, for all of these just great ideas and great descriptions and great pictures. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
all.
much. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you.
Echoing all of that Cole said, thank you all so much for that wonderful conversation and for taking us through so many wonderful images. We are going to transition to our audience Q&A now. So if you're in the audience and you'd like to ask our guests any questions, there is a link in the chat where you can submit your questions. Our first question today is going to come from Laura in the chat or in the audience, and I'll go ahead and give you a chance to unmute yourself here, Laura, if you'd like to ask your question.
Hi, Joshua. I don't have access to my question because I sent it on to you, and I was hoping you would ask it, but I will just say this gives me a chance to say thank you so much for that extraordinary discussion and for telling us for all the work you're doing with this gorgeous project. I was so excited. And Joshua, if you would please read the question, and if you would, if people don't know, make the links that I put in the question available, maybe with a share screen or something.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and place those links in the chat here as well.
That'd be great. And if you could read the question, because as I say, I sent it to you and I don't have it in front of me.
Of course. Okay. Laura writes, what an exciting, impressive, and generously productive project. I wondered if you had sources of inspiration and/or connections to other such movements internationally. And then here are the links that Laura included as well. But yes, the question is about sources of inspiration and connections to other international movements.
I mean,
Sure. I mean, when we were traveling, we met so many people around India and also read about so many others who were doing inspiring work all around the world and bringing books to people in so many different, unusual ways. And all these wonderful libraries that people had around the world, which brought books to people in war-torn cities.
There's this guy in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana who used to have this push cart promoting poetry books. That was amazing. So there are so many. I cannot even name one or two. There are hundreds of them that I get inspired from. And I look at myself and Satabdi, and I think these are only two people. There are millions of others who do maybe better job than us, but they may not be getting that kind of attention from media or people. That happens, but
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 people are
people
carrying
are
on
caring.
with their work in so many wonderful ways all around the world, and that's great. And salute to them.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for that question, Laura, and thank you for those answers. Our next question comes from Victoria in the audience, who writes, I would love to hear a few more of Akshay's poems as they were originally written, not in English, in parentheses there. So, Akshay, if you'd like to share a few more.
I can read only little one called Doudi Doudi Jibi, Rasta Saribani, Mu Sari Jibi, Eita Hi Jiban. I think Biswamit has read the original as the translation in English. But I think, when the book comes out, it will come out in Odia and English together, maybe. Then you can read in both.
Thank you, Akshay, for sharing that. That concludes our audience Q&A this afternoon, or evening. And so we are going to pass it over to Biswamit for a reading to close our program.
Thank you for that lovely conversation. It was so good to see everybody here. Hi, Laura. Hi, Victoria. And hi, everyone. I'm completely unprepared. I thought I was just going to read translations, but thankfully, I just have a book here that came out in India. It's called 100 Greatest Love Songs. And I think the relation is here is that, I was one of the things that I was kind of laughing at after meeting Akshay and Satabdi is that, like me, Akshay also worked at a restaurant, and it was just hilarious to go to that bookstore, find this guy who's been working in the book selling business in the most transformative way, and then he also worked at a restaurant. I was like, great. So I'll translate your poems. And so I'm just going to read a tiny bit from this book called 100 Greatest Love Songs. Most of it happens at a restaurant. It just came out in India. And yeah. Okay. Each chapter is a song. There's 100 songs. And this is chapter 39, song 39. Song 39. No amount of watching American films could have prepared you for this. No song you've ever heard.
He's having trouble with his, there's a lot of power outages where he is in Bangalore. So that may have just happened. We'll cross fingers that he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the background went dark makes me think he had another power outage.
He did mention that.
Yeah. We'll wait another minute or two and see. And I know that he mentioned that he had the possibility of switching to his phone and that he could get on with the phone without needing the electricity. So we'll hope that he can do that and that we'll have him back with us soon. So, and it's nice that you all in another part of India are not having the horrible storms and the power outages and everything else. Okay, so it's in the waiting room. Okay.
Okay. Do you have an echo?
A little bit, but it'll be okay.
I'll try to leave this meeting. Sorry. The power went out as soon as I started reading. That is a sign, but I will. Do we have time? Should I still read by candlelight? Okay,
totally.
Cool.
Atmosphere.
Wow. I've never done. So oops, and start a little fire. No. Okay. Great. Okay. No amount of watching American films could have prepared you for this. No song you've ever heard has referenced this underbelly of American culture, the kitchen of a greasy diner, the American heart sliced open. I'm a dishwasher, you declare over the phone to your family out of spite, and the line goes blank on the other side. No, this never happens. You do not dare tell them that your aunt's prophecy has come true, the one who was so doubtful about your move abroad. This is their worst nightmare. A Brahmin boy doing dishes, which you do 6 to 8 hours a day those first few weeks, and then there are days with the double shifts. You want to get a hang of things as quickly as possible, clear dirty plates after the patrons are done eating, wipe down tables and booths, sweep and mop the floor till you can master the art of cleanliness and be promoted as a server. Observe and learn. For some, this would be the easiest job in the world, but now the restaurant is full of people and you seem to be in everyone's way. Because your colleagues are so busy, they cannot help but scream orders at you, and each utterance becomes an assault. No one has the time to be polite during the Sunday morning church rush. Just figure it out, they hiss when you ask a question. What is the abbreviation for a deluxe bacon cheeseburger with mayonnaise and an egg, but no mustard? What do you do when the dishwasher breaks down and the cooks are out of plates? You wash by hand, just like they did back home. But you cannot stop customers from sitting at tables still dirty plates from the previous meal. And you certainly cannot stop a waitress from going on smoke breaks as their customers wait for their bill. Bus, wipe, and water table 5. 1 BNG to go. Get me some over easy on the fly. Fragments of language you barely comprehend. They become poems. What will you tolerate for 1, maybe 2 free meals a day? Homelessness one on one. When friends or roommates converge at the diner, you try and not look so flustered. Getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to you, says the friend, the one responsible for that unfortunate event, because it was he who fed you magic mushrooms as he slurps down a milkshake you made. That's also part of your job as a dishwasher, along with packing takeout orders, which you fuck up repeatedly. This place is iconic, he says after a burp at the end of his milkshake, and you wonder if a restaurant selling cheap burgers to drunks and stoners can actually be called that. But he's not the only one. All your friends are impressed when you tell them that about your new place of work, as if you'd been cashing in on a six-figure salary. If only your family back home could see the perks this job comes with. Thank you.
Lovely.
I should blow out my candles.
Thank you so much for sticking through it against all odds. Came out wonderfully. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Akshay, Satabdi, Biswamit, and Cole. We'd also like to thank the Marion Bolton Kippy Stroud Foundation and Tiger Foundation for sponsoring our NSE program and making these weekday conversations possible, and for their support of our growing archive, which you can view on the Rail's YouTube channel. The Rail has been free and independent for 25 years. A donation directly supports our writers, production staff, and operations. Support our work through the link in the chat. And if you're available, join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. for a conversation with Paul Chan and Vic Brooks on the event of Adama Mon Amour at Green Naftali. And as is Rail tradition, you can now say hello and goodbye as you leave today. Thanks, everyone.
And thanks to Fong Bui, as always, for giving us the space and all the
Thank you,
people at the Rail.
Asasa. Thank you. Thank you, Satabdi.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much.
So
Thank you,
much.
thank
Thank you,
you.
Cole.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.